All right, everyone, welcome to TerrorCrave. I am your host, Lee, and with me, as always, is my co-host in arms, Jason. Jason, what's popping tonight, my friend?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Glad to be in the air conditioner. It was a scorcher here in Virginia today, so glad to be inside, man. How you
Good
been doing?
gosh, I'm doing great, man. It was all over Virginia. I thought we were actually in hell for a little bit. You know what I mean? I was like, what did I do? What is this curse? What has been brought upon us? Because
Yeah,
it's terrible out there, man. You walk in and you just melt right off the bat. You know?
I think somebody opened a Dybbuk box somewhere and just let out like the heat demon or something, man. It was crazy.
Well, is there any way that you could maybe open another one, perhaps bring out the cold demon, perhaps they could intermingle and then we just get some warmth? You know what I
I
mean? Does it have
I
to
can
be?
try. I can try to open it real quick. You'll have to explain it to my wife that you had me open it. So
All right. Well, hey, if it's anything that can combat the heat, maybe perhaps she'll be on our side, man.
yeah, maybe
But
so. Maybe
nah,
so.
nah, dude. But it's great to be back as always, man. We're here tonight to talk about, as we always do, rainbows and unicorns. You know, nothing but peaceful and
Love
fun
it.
and loving stuff here. You know,
Love it.
no, no. In all seriousness, guys, what we're here tonight to talk about, as we always do, we're here to talk about some good horror stuff. There's a lot of great things up on the horizon that we're going to discuss. Some good movies that are coming out. A fantastic awesome trailer, in my opinion, that was dropped this week, meeting Halloween. So we'll get into
Yeah,
that.
man.
But also just talking about serial killers. I know Jason's been spending a lot of time, or watching a couple of good serial killer flicks here lately, and not only that, but some documentaries. So we'll dive into all of that.
Yeah, yeah. The serial killers are a big deal now, as far as documentaries and movies and that type of thing. Everybody loves a good documentary about the serial killer, and I don't know, it's just a strange attraction, that brings us to these serial killers, and they're horrible people, man. They do horrible acts, but it's something about them that just makes us, it draws us to them. And there are so many out now on Netflix, on
Yeah.
Prime, on HBO Max, and of course we're making the movie Joe about a serial killer. And so one thing that I like to do, I don't want my movie, you know, the way that it was written, I didn't want it to kind of follow along the roles of other actors or other directors, and I wanted to steer clear. I didn't want people to think I was copying off of somebody.
Right.
So, um, and it's hard to do with so many of them out there now, and especially being a horror lover, you see a scene and you're like, man, that's awesome. Let me see if I can put that in mind. But I don't want to do that. But at the same time, I'm watching a lot of the documentaries, and more than that, I'm watching series about serial killers.
Right.
Some of the serial killers are made up. Some of them are real life. I watched one on the Green River Killer. It was a mini series that came in back in the early 2000s. So it's not a new one, but it was really good the way they did it, the way they led up to it. Um, if you didn't know who the Green River Killer was, you wouldn't have known in this movie until the end of the movie, or the end of the miniseries, I should say. But
Okay.
it was good the way they did it. But I knew, like, as soon as they interviewed him, in like the second or third episode, I was like, oh, you got him already. And they didn't have him because it was a terrible interview, and they didn't ask the questions that they should have. And it was there was so much there that they could have arrested him right there at that time, but they didn't.
So for those of
Um,
us that don't know a lot about the Green River Killer, maybe you could just give us a quick deal about what he was doing.
so the Green River Killer was picking up uh, young prostitutes, drug addicts. I think in all he killed, if I'm not mistaken, the Green River, yeah, 71 girls, young girls,
Wow.
um, down on their luck girls. Um, they were just thrown out there, and the way that this series was told was through the eyes of one of his victims, and you think that she's one that got away, where throughout the miniseries that you figured at a certain point you say, oh, she didn't get away. This is, you know what I mean? And it's
Right.
not a ghost story or anything like that. It's just telling from her perspective.
Understood.
Um, but the guy was your average, uh, everyday neighbor. You would have never suspected him, just living next door to him. He had a decent job. He worked at a body shop doing painting. Um, Gary, what was his, Gary Ridgway, and you would have never known that he was a serial killer.
Mhm.
You know, much along the lines of like John Wayne Gacy or even Ted Bundy or a lot of them. You wouldn't. There's some serial killers where you can look at them and say, man, how did nobody know that this dude wasn't out there killing people, man? You
Right.
know, but for the most part, your serial killers look like just your average everyday person.
You know, you know me, I'm always going to take it back to movies, and so it reminds me of everything you're saying. And you're absolutely right, right? That's why serial killers, I mean, if they looked crazy and insane and walked around with a hockey mask or a Halloween mask on, perhaps
Yeah,
they get caught right away, right? And that's not
sure.
how they typically are. They are the normal average guy, family man, a lot of the times. But it reminds me of a film, The Cloverfield Killer. I don't know if you ever saw that. It was Dylan McDermott starred in it, but he was a Boy Scout master. You know, had a fantastic. His son idolized him and all of that, and he then his son actually found some things in his shed, which led to his downfall and all of that stuff. But I think to your point, most, you know, all of those guys are all like that. They're like family guys or whatever, you know what I mean? And I think that's just they just blend in with society, and then or they're what do they call them when they're have the they don't have the feelings, but they can act like they have emotions.
Yeah.
Um, I can't think of the scientific term or whatever the term is for it, but that's, you know, a lot of them are like that, right? They can feign like they feel and have these emotions, but really inside they're just stone cold, and they
Yeah.
live to just have those precious hours to where they can go and kill.
Oh yeah.
That's when they're actually living, you know?
Yeah. That's their drug. You
Yeah.
know, that's the way a lot of them describe it is, you know, that's their high and they're just trying to get back to it. You know,
Mhm.
they're trying to get that first feeling of the whatever kind of drug you want to say. But there's like there was Arthur Shawcross that if you ever anybody gets a chance to go on and watch the interviews with the real Arthur Shawcross, he's in prison. But if you go on and watch his interviews, if you talk to that guy, if you would have just known him as your neighbor, me anyway, if I saw him and talked to him the first time, I was like, that dude's killing people. You know, he was that type.
And this is the Green River Killer you're talking about.
No,
Oh,
Arthur Shawcross was not the Green River. Gary Ridgway was his Green River killer. You would have never
okay.
known, never suspected him.
Right.
He was at one time kind of abusive to his first wife or something, and they split up. But after that, he got married to somebody else, and when she left him, that's when he started uh, doing the killings and stuff. But we're talking 71 women, but that stretched from like 82 to 98 or something like that. So he was killing a long time.
Well, isn't that? I mean, again, we're talking about the people who are doing these things and living the double life, so to speak. But that goes in the BTK
Yeah,
killer.
BTK killer. Yeah,
Yeah, isn't that somebody? Maybe I think the
same
Cloverfield killer
thing.
was kind of
No,
yeah.
no, BTK. There was Dennis Rader, and
Okay,
yeah, he killed 10 people. But yeah, he was a family man.
right.
You know, it's just insane, man. Just to know that these people, it's bad enough when you have like your Jeffrey Dahmer type person by themselves, and you know they're out there killing people. But when it's
Right.
a family person, you know,
Yeah,
it's even
that's what I'm saying. When you just they're you know, everybody knows them as a pillar of society.
yeah,
You know what I mean? They're a Boy Scout master. They are really well involved in the church. You
yeah.
know,
John
taught
Wayne
Sunday
Gacy
school.
doing kids' birthday parties dressed as a clown, you know, and he was on like the town council and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Well,
And
dressed up as a clown for a kid's birthday parties, that should have been the first indication that somebody, no, I'm just
but
I think
that
we've been
was
trained to know that now that there's probably something amiss.
yeah,
But that
yeah.
was
Now,
early in the game. Yeah.
yeah, when he was doing it, I don't think the first movie had come out, the TV one with if
Right.
that had already been out, then yeah, people probably would have been like, what? I don't want no
But
clown in my birthday.
exactly. Now, John Wayne Gacy, that was back in the 60s, right?
70s, early 80s.
70s.
Yeah.
70s, early 80s. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So who is the killer that I'm thinking of then, Jason? You'll be able to help me out. That all of these movies are pretty much based on. I know Psycho was based on
Ed
him.
Gein.
Ed Gein, thank you. And
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre was also based on him. You know what I mean? There's
Ed
been so
Gein.
many
Yep.
movies that have spun off from
Silence of the
him.
Lambs. Did you say that
Yeah.
one? So
I know
yeah,
I said Psycho and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then also like you said,
Silence of the
Silence of
Lambs.
the
Yeah,
Lambs was
Buffalo
crazy.
Bill. Yeah,
Yeah.
and in reality, he only killed 2 people. I think it was actually killed
Okay.
2 people. The rest of them, which he had a lot of bodies. He had enough bodies that he made a whole belt out of nipples.
Oh,
You know,
what?
that's a lot of damn
Oh my gosh.
nipples. But
Yeah.
he had lampshades made out of skin. He had, something skulls. He was using those for soup bowls. And but he was digging up a lot of them, going and digging them up from the grave. But he was also another one where people said he's odd, he's a little bit off, but
Right.
they didn't think he would ever do anything like that.
Understood. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was just a weird guy. But that's one of the things why now if you see like some weird guy, automatically think, yeah, he's got somebody down in the basement,
Oh yeah.
you know. But
So you were talking about documentaries earlier. There was also one that came out, and they based American Horror Story, um,
Richard
1984.
Ramirez.
Yeah, Richard Ramirez. His
Yeah,
documentary came out a few months
the
ago
Night
too.
Stalker.
Night
Yeah.
Stalker. Thank you.
Now I'm gonna tell you that guy. You could probably look at him and tell that he was into something. He was up to something. And if it wasn't killing people, it was gonna be drugs or robbing people or raping or whatever it was. But that guy, he was. You have your psychopaths that like your Gacy and Bundy and people like that. This guy to me was almost on a whole nother level, man, because he was like into Satan and he didn't care, man. And here's another thing too is how people will flock to him. And
Yeah.
almost like, now I can't say too much because I do have a t-shirt that has like John Wayne Gacy's Pogo the Clown painting on it and stuff like that.
Right.
And so I have some murderabilia, they call it, from serial killers. Like I have one of the letters from Joe Metheny, who I'm making the movie about. I think that was just for me to try to get closer to the actual,
You don't have to
serial
make
killer.
excuses, man. You don't have to make excuses. I think that
Yeah.
you're like, let me
Yeah.
add a little epilogue and say why I have that.
Yeah.
No.
But well, think about like Richard Ramirez. He was in the when he was in court, he jumps in and he was like, "Hail Satan" and stuff like this. And then young girls were coming in there and saying it too, like following him. Look at
Right.
Charles Manson, all the
Yeah.
followers that he had, dude. And he didn't commit one crime.
Right.
Well, he didn't commit one murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's very true. And it says something about these guys that, yeah, I guess there's different ones. Serial killers. Ed Gein didn't seem like he had too much of a personality, but there are other ones like you just mentioned, Ramirez and
Yeah.
all of those guys. They do have that cult status. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they
Yeah.
become popular. I mean, he was real time popular back in the 70s or
Oh
70s,
yeah.
right? I mean, like you said, those girls were idolizing him, and definitely Charles Manson was. I mean, he had a whole cult of people
Whole
that he was
cult.
able to. But it's just something about their personalities and what they put out there. You know what I mean? That just draws people to them.
Yeah.
It's something weird like that. What gives them that ability to be able? It says something about evil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It says something about evil. That's how evil they are, but yet they've got that thing that just draws people and then becomes followers of them.
Yeah. And then you take like now the movie American Psycho, they based that character off of Ted Bundy.
Mm-hmm.
Because Ted Bundy was a really handsome guy. He was clean cut. He was in school or going to the libraries and stuff like that, and he was an intelligent man, but
Right.
he was killing people. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what American Psycho, they kind of loosely based it off of that character. But it was the same way. He could, which is weird because he could have picked those girls up and just had a date with them, or a one time or whatever it was, and that would have been it. But it wasn't enough for him. He killed the first one and he had to feel that again. That was his ecstasy. So
Now you're talking about Ted Bundy, so I'm going to ask you again, going into the movies. There was a recent film that came out with Zac Efron called
great movie.
Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile.
Great.
I was going to ask your opinion.
Yeah, I like that one because and I wasn't a big Zac Efron fan until
You weren't a big High School
Greatest
Musical
Showman.
guy?
Yeah, The Greatest Showman,
Yeah.
which I watched like 1,000 times with my son. But I thought that he did a great job, and it wasn't just that he did a great job acting, is the story that they stood by was, when if you're gonna make the serial killer movie, you try to stay by the as much as you can. I
Right.
know my movie Joe veers off a little bit just because I don't have millions of dollars to rent all the locations and pay everybody that needs to be paid and get the copyrights and stuff like that. But I thought that he did a great job acting. He's a handsome guy, so the women are attracted to him already.
Mhm.
So I mean, that's how Bundy did it. That's how he got it.
Right. Yeah. True story, man. I mean, literally a true story. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I never saw that film, but I did want to check it out. So I was just
it's
wondering what your
good. Oh,
opinion
I
was on it.
recommend it. It's good. And then
Nice.
there's a Dahmer movie coming out soon that's got the main guy that's in American Horror Story, um, the younger guy. Tag on it.
Oh, are you
Uh,
talking about oh gosh, who played the Tate,
uh,
or is that
yeah, yeah, Tate, or I always think Kit Carson.
Kit Carson? Yeah, I'm trying to think of his name now. Evan Peters?
Evan Peters. I know it
Yeah,
was something Peter, something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, Evan Peters. He's going to be Dahmer. So I think that's going to be awesome, man, because he's a great actor. Which, by the way, you and I were talking earlier. He's in the Mayor of Easttown.
Oh, okay.
And I'll just say for the
Hmm.
viewers out there watching that, I watch a lot of the serial killer stuff and horror movies and stuff like that. And my wife wanted to watch Mayor of Easttown. And I was like, what that chick from the daggone Titanic in it? And this is movie. All right. I guess I owe her that. I'm always getting her to watch my stuff. So I owe her that. So we watched it, and I know you haven't seen it, Lee. So I'm not going to say a
Right.
lot about it, but it's a great, great series, and I definitely recommend it to everyone to watch.
Well,
It
man,
is it is more of a drama thriller than horror movie. It's not a horror movie at all, but it's good. It's really good. I recommend it.
well, man, that's great. It is on my list. So when you told me you watched it and really enjoyed it, it moved even higher up. So it's definitely, it will be watched here in the very near future, man. I've heard great things about it as well, so I can't wait to get into it.
Yeah.
But that led us to another great serial killer show, which also was uh, done by one of our favorite authors, Stephen King. Another HBO prestige show, The Outsider.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
It was
I thought
great.
that one was really well done also, and it was a little of a serial killer, but more of a supernatural twist to it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. It starts off almost from the beginning, that something's, supernatural going in, but or going on. But yeah, Jason Bateman does a great job in it. And I thought he was going to be in throughout the whole thing. And I don't want to say too much about it if people haven't seen it, but that came out, when did you say? Because I just watched it. So
It came out last spring, actually.
oh gosh, I was
Yeah,
way
so
behind.
I didn't watch it until the fall, but it was really good. I enjoyed it immensely. And he said Jason Bateman directed a couple episodes and Stephen King, and it was just really well done and kept you on the edge of your seat. I love these little
Yeah.
whodunits, you know what I mean? I just do. I think HBO does them really well too when they do them.
Yeah.
Based on like that and True Detective. They do a lot of good serial killer mystery thrillers.
Yeah. I think they did a great job, man. Great
Mhm.
job. If you had to pick how do you say a favorite serial killer? Can you say that? Can you say?
Can you say that? Now, okay, well, I guess you can. And you know what? You've already said it, so it's out there, my friend. And I'll answer the question. I guess for me, my favorite serial killer would be one of the ones who goes back even maybe starts the serial killer myth, Jack the Ripper.
Ah, I can't believe that you have a favorite serial killer. As bad as I like horror movies, buddy, but no, actually, I'll have to tell you that if I had to pick, like, if one to research or look into, I would probably say the same thing, Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, because he started the whole. I mean, I don't know if he started, but that's the one that I could think of that goes furthest back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That
most
started this
popular, I
whole
would say.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. So no, I mean that's and they've done really great movies based on him. I think we talked about one not too long ago. You brought up what From Hell?
From Hell with Johnny Depp. Yeah,
Yeah, with the Hughes brothers and stuff. when
Yeah.
he was actually the one chasing down the Jack the Ripper. I thought that was really well done. But no, I guess if you had to, like I said, I would go back there.
Yeah.
I can't see myself choosing, just because also that one's so far back and it's almost like a legend now. So
Yeah.
as opposed to me saying Jeffrey Dahmer's my favorite one, you know.
Yeah. No,
So
no,
you can't catch me asking saying that, I guess.
I'd have to say Joe Metheny just because of the movie. He was the
Right.
best. He was the
Yeah.
greatest. He was scary. He was demented.
He was the greatest. He
Yeah.
did the best of all,
Yeah.
man.
Man, I wish there was a movie about him.
I know, right? Man,
Yeah.
we should make that movie, Jason.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Dude.
think
Yeah.
yeah, we've got a couple scenes knocked down. Well, I
Indeed.
guess we'll jump onto some happier stuff now. Let's get into some news.
Oh yeah, man, some news, dude. As we mentioned before, there was a great trailer that dropped this week, I believe it was, or maybe late last week. It was this week. The new Halloween. Um, that came out. I guess the first one is the continuation of the original Halloween movie. They're acting like none of the sequels came before it. Like, right? So let's talk about that. There's no. It's just the first Halloween, and then this one that came out in 2018.
Well, part 1 and 2, right?
No, they're actually like part two doesn't even exist
2 doesn't even
because
exist.
no, two doesn't, which I thought two was really well done. Also,
Yeah.
I think two is a really good movie in its own right. But no, they act like two. This series that we're talking about now acts like two never even happened.
Wow.
It was just one. He got caught
And sent to
and
the
said that, because remember in part two and all that, that's where it comes out that not Jamie, Laurie, well, Jamie Lee Curtis, but Laurie Strode is his sister.
yeah.
That's what part two brought to the table, other than some great stalkings and killings, I guess if
That's
you could
right.
say that. you know, it made hospitals pretty scary.
Yeah.
Scarier than they already are. But and so no, because remember this movie picks up. They're not brother and sister.
No.
So that's saying that it's just moved into this one in part one. But all that's being said, the trailer dropped this week, man, and I thought it was awesome. I mean, it got me really hyped. And this was a Red Band trailer. I mean, they were just not holding anything back. They just
No, it looks good.
the violence that came out, it was just bam. I mean, he came out the firefighters, that shows you how he survived, I guess, or what happened right after the fire. This movie starts much like part two did of the original Halloween. It starts right after takes place right from the ending of the first movie.
Yeah.
And this is what this movie's doing as well. And it just looks really good, man. I love the callback to, we talked about how part two, in part two, the original one, part two, Laurie Strode was in the hospital or in the hospital bed for like an hour in the film. You know what I mean? She just was like, and all from just like a little slash, not like it wasn't bad, but a little cut on her arm. You know what I mean? And she just was laid out. So I love how in the trailer in this one, they're showing her, she's getting right out of that bed and injecting herself with something. You know what I mean? She's not waiting around. She's going on the hunt. She's going on the hunt. It looks like she gets a cult of people or behind her, a mob of people, I should say, behind her as well, looking out for Michael.
Well, when the previous one went off, I can tell you that as soon as they, the pins go across, he's locked down in the cellar and the fire starts and, there's an explosion or whatever. It's like, didn't make sure he was dead. Didn't make sure he was dead. And this isn't even the last one of the series either. There's one more after this. So,
this was
but
called
that
Halloween Kills.
Yeah. And then it's Halloween Ends. Is that
I think that is the ending, or not,
but
or the
that doesn't mean that Michael Myers is going to get through this. We don't know that one yet. It could be maybe somebody else. But I do remember almost a year ago, they came out with a short trailer and all it showed was Lori, her daughter and granddaughter in the back of the truck saying, "Let him burn, don't put it out." And that was it, because I think it was supposed to be released last Halloween.
It was.
Right. And then everything happened. So now it's coming around to this one.
Yeah, it totally was about, we should have already had it. And I think we would have probably had maybe Halloween Ends this next year.
Probably
They're coming
so.
up this fall, you know, so
Yeah.
everything's been delayed, of course, with the films and all. But no,
Yeah.
I was so hype about it. It looked really good. I mean, it just starts off with Michael just wrecking havoc. You know what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, I can't wait to see it, dude.
Yeah. Some of the
Awesome.
kills they show that are like you were saying, the fireman stuff, but it's going to be good. And now there's what is it, the Forever Purge, I think, is out now.
That comes out Friday, July
Friday.
2nd.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, and I believe this one takes place 5 years after. So you know that we had a trilogy that ended with her the lady who was running for president, I believe.
Yeah.
They end the purge. They finally put the founding fathers or whatever they were called. They put them to
Yeah.
bed to get rid of them, and they end the purge. Then they had a fourth film, which went back and became a prequel to show us the first purge, show us
Right.
all how it all began. And now we're back to this one, and takes place 5 years after the third movie where the purge ended. But apparently, the founding fathers have come back into power somehow and said, "Guess what? The purge is back in play." And so, because this was called the Forever Purge, I guess, meaning the
It looks
purge just
good.
never ever ends. It does
It
look
looks
good. I
good.
like that they're taking out of the, it's been all in some nondescript city most of the time. I don't think they've
Yeah.
ever specified what city we were ever in. So this looks to take place out in the countryside, or in the desert or something like that, or in the field. So it looks a little different.
It should be good. I don't know that I'll go to the theaters to watch it. I'll definitely watch it when it comes out on demand or whatever. I like The Purge, and I did watch the TV series. I think they had 2 seasons to that, maybe 3.
Yeah.
But
Now
I like them, but not enough to
I
go to
think
theater.
I've never seen them in the theater, so you wouldn't be alone in that. I've seen them all when they come out later on in the comfort of my home. But I think that they've, however you look at it, evolved, however you want to say it, into more of they're not really hard. I mean, I guess horrific things happen, but it's become more of an action adventure. Not an adventure, I
Yeah.
guess, but more of an action. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Action films, almost so to speak, which I still enjoy the hell out of them. I've seen every one of them,
Yeah, they're
and I'll
good.
definitely see
They're
this one.
good.
You know what I mean? But it started off as the horror with the stalking, and I think they've kind of gone more into the action vein of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
And
Yeah. Well,
what is it? Don't Breathe 2. That's coming out
yes.
beginning of August, I believe it is. That'll be good.
Yeah.
The first one of those was pretty good, so it should be good. And I think they're making the blind man the main character in this movie too.
And he's still going after that one girl though, right? He's
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he's going after her. You're saying we'll follow his story. He becomes more of an equal
Yeah.
role, I guess, following his story and then following her story as well.
That was a good movie. The first one was good, so I'm hoping the second one lives up to it.
It was good. It was also very disturbing. I mean, as far as like keeping that girl, I mean, and then impregnating her, with his sperm, and then she got killed, and he's like, oh, I got this girl now, and put her in. It was crazy, but it was
Well,
really good, really stressful, really intense. So
yeah.
many crazy, intense scenes that were
Yeah.
happening in there.
Yeah.
You know,
And let's see, one other movie I can think of offhand that's coming up. I know that the new Ghostbuster movie, which isn't a horror movie, but everybody likes Ghostbusters, so
they
the
do.
trailers for that look great.
It
So
does look really good. I love that we're going back to the original. They're gonna have to have all the main cast back, everybody that they can, of course, except for Harold
yeah.
Ramis. He's
Right.
passed away, so we won't have Egon. But I believe this is Egon's family that we're following.
Yep.
And unbeknownst to them, their grandfather was a Ghostbuster.
Yep.
Got old Paul Rudd in it. I love Paul Rudd. He's funny. And then, like I said, the original cast is all back, man. I mean, except for Rick Moranis. I don't think he said yes to it. We got Andy Potts, uh, you know, uh, uh, Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Ernie Hudson. We got the whole gang back.
Yeah, I'm glad. Rick Moranis, I actually he was in a commercial not long ago. I think with
Ryan
what's his
Reynolds.
name? Yeah, yeah, which was awesome to see. But
It's funny. He said no to pretty much everything over the years, forever. Like over 20 years, he retired, and then he gets back for a Ryan Reynolds commercial, which was great to see him in though. And I think, again, not a horror film, but he is also going to reprise his role in the Honey I Shrunk the Kids sequel.
oh, that would be
Moving
awesome.
Disney
But
Plus.
he just got out of it to take care of his family, right? He just wanted to
That's
be with his
true.
family.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You
that was
can't
it.
blame him for
He had
that,
enough
man.
money. He'd been working since whatever, and so he's Old Strange Brew. Remember him from that?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
the Canadian guys. Hey, hey, guy.
Yeah.
Drinking the beers. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
I think
No,
the only other one that it's already come out, but I can't believe I haven't watched it yet because you want uh some gruesome stuff. Terrifier Part 2 came out back in February, and I need to watch that because I liked Terrifier. That's with Art the
oh,
Clown.
oh, okay. Oh, Terrifier. Yes, okay.
Yeah.
That they had a sequel to that come out already.
Yeah, Part 2
New
that
one
came
came
out
out.
this past February. Yeah. Last
Oh,
February.
okay.
And I haven't, I guess it's not on demand yet, but if anybody out there has seen it in on demand, just leave a comment because I love that one. There was All Hallows Eve is where that got its start. There was 2 parts to that, and he was just in a couple of the clips. That was where somebody found a VHS tape of people killing people, but one of them was Art the Clown, and then he got his own spinoff from that in Terrifier, and man, that's a disturbing movie. So this one I'm hoping is even better. So
I've not seen Terrifier, but I've heard to your point about it's not just, you know, killing somebody, and it's more of like mutilating them and just like terrible, terrible things
yeah,
are happening. So,
makes Pennywise look like a church choir director, man. I'm telling you.
But dude, the next one's, I guess, the other only one that I can think of that's coming out really in the near future, which means 2 days from now, but coming out on Netflix is the Fear Street
Yeah,
trilogy.
man. I can't
That's
wait. I think that's
dropping.
going to be good.
It's going to be really good, man. And it's by R.L. Stine. And this is going to be him. You know, he's usually really known for Goosebumps and all of that, which have been really good. I think we actually talked about that before.
Hmm.
Some of those are really pretty, creepy in their own right.
Yeah.
But this is more geared, these are hard R films. And it's a trilogy of them being released, starting Friday the 2nd, then the 9th, and then whatever the Friday that is after that. What is the 15th? Is that? Yeah, it's
Sure.
the 15th.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll just go with that. But it is
Yeah.
consecutive Fridays here, the next 3 Fridays. So that looks really good, man. The trailers have been awesome. And I think it's going to be a cool little mystery zone throughout all 3 films.
I can say that at first I had my doubts when I first started watching the trailer because it was a bunch of like teenage kids or maybe even like early college kids, and I was like, oh man. And then I was
Right.
like, oh well. Then I had to think, well, it's R.L. Stine, and then I thought, well, this is kind of going towards a slasher type thing. So okay, now it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, man. Should be good. I'm excited about that, man. There was some great horror films coming out, I think, and we're going to get an onslaught of them also because of the fact that the pandemic paused everything, right? And so
Yeah.
now things are starting to open up, and then they're also making new films at the same time. So we're going to get like just a onslaught of great stuff
Yeah.
coming out over the next few months. Leading into the, of course, best time of year, Halloween.
Oh
So
yeah,
there's gonna be
man.
some great films coming out around that time also. So really
Yeah.
good stuff.
Walking Dead's final season coming on. I think
Yep.
that starts September or something. So is that right?
Yeah.
September, August, whenever. But it should be a good season. And I swear, if Maggie kills Negan, I'm going to be so mad. But I don't think
I
she will.
I don't think she will either, man. I
I
think
hope
somehow,
not.
some way, they're gonna learn to live together. Or they'll be put in some situation where he saves your life or saves the boy's life or whatever. They'll figure
Yeah,
it
something will
out.
happen. Something will happen.
Indeed,
Hopefully.
man. Indeed. So, dude, I think we covered it all.
Yeah, I think so, man. I think so. Anything else?
Can you feel it? That's fear climbing up your spine like spiders.
I think she's
No,
okay. She's all right.
it's good. Another good episode, guys. We appreciate you guys watching. Please hit the like, subscribe button. We love hearing your comments. We want to hear more of them. Let us know what your thoughts are on the show, what you want to see us do, any upcoming shows. We're here to make you guys happy, right? So we want to do shows you guys want to watch.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks, Lee. And I guess we'll see everyone next week.
Indeed. Later.